Hey everyone, this is Dave A. Gardner, and you're listening to The Heart of Juliet Jones, fan fiction podcast.
And I'm Eve Jones, back again as your awesome co-host, joining our spectacular romance novelist extraordinaire who is the main host.
This is part 29 of Chasing a Dream.
Based on the vintage daily comic strip called The Heart of Juliet Jones, with characters and stories originally written by Elliot Kaplan and illustrated by Stan Drake in 1961. The fan fiction story you are hearing today is written by your favorite person and mine, Mr. Dave A. Gardner. Welcome back to a story that has the potential to brighten your day with a mix of humor, drama, and a whole lot of heart.
Thanks, Eve.
Absolutely my pleasure, Dave. I'm loving being your co-host, by the way.
Well, you're doing a great job, as always. Why don't you fill in our listeners on what happened in our last episode?
Oh, right. I'd love to, Dave. In our last episode, I arrived at the door of room 32 at the Devon Hotel, ready for my acting lessons with my heartthrob, Glenn Sabine, when lo and behold, instead of Mr. Sabine, I was met by his unhealthy chain-smoking assistant, Pike Setter. Now, I'm not always the best judge of character, Julie can tell you, but this guy, we're talking creepy with a capital K. But since Glenn wasn't there, I had to sit and endure him watching me with that psychotic grin again. Then the old slob suggests that we practice acting a scene together. From a play from that guy Hamlet, as if I wasn't uncomfortable enough. Oh, I couldn't wait for Glenn to hurry up and get back. Let's listen in to part 29, entitled Impeccable Timing.
Having discovered that her dashing and ridiculously handsome mentor, Glenn Sabine, was away from the hotel room where she was supposed to meet him, Eve wanted nothing more than to hightail it out of there faster than she could say, "Romeo, wherefore art thou?" Waiting for Glenn had been excruciatingly uncomfortable, to say the least. Mr. Setter was sitting in bed, smoking and staring at her with those eyes. Then he suggested that they rehearse lines from a play she had never heard of. As they stood to rehearse the scene, he explained that the story involved a high society girl, played by Eve, who was somehow attracted to a worker on the engineer deck of a cruise ship, played by Mr. Pike Setter. Eve didn't like where this was going. Then, supposedly in character, Mr. Setter wrapped his arms around Eve and pulled her close. Eve pushed him away.
Hello, boundaries? A little too close, thank you. Do you really need to touch me? I mean, I just washed my hair.
It's not what I'm doing, Eve, he explained. This is a scene in the play. You have to understand that acting is an art. When it comes to art, there are different kinds of expressions, if you know what I mean. Now, let's run through the scene once more.
Okay, so you have your arms around me.
No, the engineer does.
Right, the engineer has his arms wrapped around me as he expresses his undying love to me. Yeah, see, the thing is, I'm not really sure if he should do that.
What do you mean, Eve? It's right there, written in the script.
Yeah, first of all, you don't even have a script. You're just repeating from your so-called memory, you said. Secondly, I think the engineer should wait to tell her at the end. Seriously, this is a romance after all. Don't you know how romance stories work? I mean, I know all about romance novels. I'm a big fan of Dave A. Gardner. Have you heard of him? Anyway, the hero tells his true love that he loves her at the end of the story, not in the beginning, you know what I mean?
As it was becoming more and more difficult to stop the chain-smoking creep from getting close to her, Eve's heart was stammering with fright. Maybe it was time to make a run for it. Just then, a key sounded at the door, and before Mr. Setter could make a further move, Eve's knight in shining suit and tie combo was standing in the doorway. Glenn was watching Mr. Setter with silent distaste. There were no words exchanged, only silence, and waiting for a reason. "Hi, Glenn," Mr. Setter bumbled, stepping away from Eve. "Just filling our little star in on some acting details." "Thanks, Pike," Glenn replied, his voice low and gruff. Mr. Sabine's eyes narrowed, firing a stern warning across the room at his assistant, like an arrow at an archery contest. Finally, the brute let her go, and Eve could breathe again, thankful that Glenn had arrived when he did. As his assistant toddled away, meandering across the floor to the other side of the studio-style hotel room, Glenn turned to him sharply. I'll handle the acting assignment after this." His voice returned to a softer tone as he spoke to Eve. "Now then, Eve, didn't we have a few business details to clean up first?" Finally, this was what she'd been waiting for. Suddenly, the memory of what had just transpired with Mr. Setter sizzled away like a raw onion on a frying pan. There was no way she could forget why she had come. This was her dream on the line, and no idiot like Pike Setter was going to steal that from her, no matter how thoughtful he believed he was being by helping her rehearse a scene. Eve held up $100 in cold hard cash and said,
Yes. That's why I came today, Mr. Sabine. Here's my down payment. I hope you will be giving the lessons from now on. Mr. Setter means well, but he doesn't know the first thing about acting.
"Yes," hesitated Glenn. I will be the main instructor from now on," he said, glaring at his assistant. "Pike will do what he is best at, taking care of the money matters. Speaking of which, take care of this down payment for us, will you, Pike?" "Money matters," the creep muttered. "That's my specialty, isn't it, Mr. Sabine?"
Hey everyone, this is Julie again, Juliet Jones, the main protagonist in this podcast. Anyway, I was maybe a little jealous of my sister Eve being a co-host that I asked Dave if I could do the ending sequence. What do you think? Should I? Haha, of course I should, Eve Jones. So anyway, if you like what you've heard, be sure to subscribe to this podcast. And since you're here, you must be a romance lover, am I right? Why not check out Dave's life-changing and inspiring romance novels on his website? You'd love them. Eve and I can't get enough of them. That website address is authordaveagardner.com. That's authordaveagardner.com. You've listened to the Heart of Juliet Jones fan fiction podcast. Until next time, dear listeners, like Juliet, that's me, may love always bloom in your heart like a rose. Love you all. Bye-bye.